Alright, good Friday morning, October 3rd. We're down here at the Boot of Italy farm, opening up this little field where we park trucks there. Barb's back there sitting on the edge of the road with my pickup and the header cart. We're getting this opened up. And we are in much better beans today, running in the 50s and 60s, sometimes in the 40s. The field average right now is 45. But you can see they're anywhere from shin high to thigh high. Yes, that's why the reel's running fast. So getting that out of the way at the beginning for those that, boy, your reel looks like it's running fast. Yes, it is, but you don't hear beans pinging off the windshield, and they're 12.4%. So short beans. Yesterday's beans, the 33 acres, whatever it was at the home farm, they sucked. They went 39 bushel to the 38 point something bushel to the acre. They're all dry. They've all been running, well, there you can see 12.4. So we've been running them right straight through the dryer with no heat, right into the leg and into the bin. But boy, they are all over for yield and all over for size. But 1.1 inches of rain in July will do that to you. But at least I'm seeing some 50s and 60s on the monitor today. I wasn't seeing a whole head of that yesterday. That sucked. Well, they're not a whole lot better than yesterday. I mean, you get into these valleys, they're yielding better. You get onto the knolls and, you know, the hills, not so good. It is what it is for the year that we had. And then when I get up over this hill, you'll see, so I'll just keep you on for the next few minutes. We get to deal with the ash trees that are all dying because of the ash borer. Yeah, as soon as I crested the hill up here, I think there's like 3 trees laying out in the field. Of course, around the outside, you get these spots that just nothing grew. You know, well, as you can tell, it's still in the shade in a lot of spots. But I guess if we can average 40 bushel, maybe 45, because some of the later beans look a little better than this. So I'm hoping maybe it's just this one variety, because I'm still on the same variety that I planted at the home farm there that we did in the last video. But I don't know. But yeah, here we're coming upon this cluster, which I'll have to go this way a couple times towards the woods once I get shit opened up here, so I can try to get as many beans as I can. But yeah, here's 2 of them right in a row that are down. Oh, I don't know what to do here. I guess I'll just raise up. I don't really need to cut back out into the field. I'll wait till I get around another, you know, over here, and then go back and forth this way. And yeah, there's part of a 3rd tree there. But yeah, the wonderful ash trees that the ash borer destroying. Right there, came right off the top of that one. They're all over the place. I know I'm gonna find them in the cornfields too. So after doing the first time around, our average in the field dropped down to 38 bushel to the acre, because as you can see, yeah, around the outside, they're not real big. But I'm not sure how great they're gonna be once I actually get out into it. Hopefully a little better. Hopefully we get the average back up above 40 at least. But yeah, right here on this knoll I'm going over, I don't know how well you can tell, but them some really short beans trying to feed in. Hell, the reel's not even hitting them. They're so damn short. Some of them just get pushed right over, don't even get picked basically, because they're so short. Yeah, 2025 is not going to be a year to want to remember. But so while I'm going around, I'll give you a little combine rant. so to speak. I think it was the last video. Some of the comments in there. Wow. Alright, I don't know who the one was. I didn't pay attention to the name, but after about the first 2 sentences, I stopped reading the comment because it was something about comparing, you know, American farmers to the South African farmers. That, you know, the government's trying to bankrupt us all, gonna take our farms, gonna kill us, gonna kill the farmers. Do you understand the racism bullshit going on in South Africa where they're killing the white farmers? Yeah, now they're kind of regretting it too because, you know, they ain't got nobody to farm. Between the ones that they have killed and the ones that are just leaving. But, that's your views, whatever. If I piss you off for saying this, you don't want to be here anymore, whatever. I don't care. It's like, you know, I get the haters with their Trump bullshit, but some of y'all who, you know, I thought were for Trump that are just, oh, Trump's ruining everything, blah, 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 you know, Trump, you sound like a lefty lunatic. It's amazing how Biden and Harris could screw the country up so bad in 4 years' time that some of y'all think Trump should fix it in 8 months. I mean, gas prices are down, whether you want to pitch about what they are now or not. You know, they're a little over $3 for a national average. Are they down to what they were when he left his first term? No, but go look at what gas is in Canada and other places. It's still freaking cheap here. Food, you know, nobody's bitching about eggs anymore. Are they down to where they were? I don't know, but they're a hell of a lot cheaper than what they were when Biden was in office. Food, inflation, interest rates are finally coming down. Of course, that guy just hates Trump, so he'll make him go down as slow as possible, Powell. But here, I'll show you some beans. You don't have to look at my ugly mug all the time. But I don't get it. Everybody expects Trump to have everything back to the way it was, or even better, within 8 months. Let's see. We're not seeing headlines every week of some poor woman being raped and murdered by an illegal. Oh, I wonder why, because we've, you know, secured our border now. Trump's gone, you know, sending the National Guard into DC and now these other places. What DC go? Like a record 13 days without a murder or something? Oh, well, imagine that. But oh, everything's just so horrible under Trump. Whatever. I mean, if y'all want to jump off the Trump train, jump off it. I myself am gonna use my head and realize that the man can't snap his fingers. And, you know, yes, he said on day one he was going to start fixing things. I think he is. Now I'll address the other thing that I don't know if it's just the haters that are saying it or if it's some of you regular followers, but some of y'all with this acre trader. Oh, Vance, when you farmers all go bankrupt, Vice President Vance is going to buy up your farms. You know, this whole acre trader thing. Why don't you look up acre trader? All right. They're involved in like 44,000 acres. Vance originally invested in it. As far as I can see, he has nothing to do with it anymore. He originally invested in it. 44,000 acres. There's approximately 180 million acres of just corn and soybeans planted in this country. And right here's some shitty ones going over this hill. Really short. I mean, look at that shit. Not even sure half of them are ending up in the head. They're so damn short. And this acre trader is involved in 44,000 acres from what I read. And some of the farmers that are involved in it have used it, like it. So it's not a thing where they're going, oh my God, they're going to buy up all the bankrupt farmers when they bankrupt us. You know what? I hope they bankrupt every one of us. Yep. Because strap up your bootlaces there, folks, when they do. Better learn how to garden and everything else, or take up hunting so you can have some meat of some sort. But it drives me nuts listening to the bullshit of, you know, oh, Vance is gonna buy it all up, whatever. All right, so I had Barb, like I said, parked the tractor and cart there. I'm not sure I could get around the third time because it's coming up my window pretty good. she took the Ford to dump it, so I told her to park there so each time around I could just dump on the cart and go, and she'll be back before I get done with my third time around. But so yeah, got the auger kicked out now, and I'm gonna go down there and dump before I go my last time around the headland. But yeah, there's your combine rant. And I'm sure some of you'll still go at it in the comments with it, but whatever. I mean, I'm getting to the point I'm not sure I want to read all the comments anymore. I mean, that was the one thing I kind of made sure I did from day one, you know, and obviously I was never monetized back then, but I always tried to interact with you folks and, you know, read every comment and try to reply to every comment. Why don't you go to some of these other channels and see if they do that? Big channels, they go down through and give a heart to the first 20 or 30 people, maybe answer 1 or 2 comments, and they never see any of the rest. They have nice clean beans. But so anyways, that's my rant. We're gonna keep beaning. Chance of rain Tuesday. Today's Friday. Look, it's Barb. Boy, it's depressing doing shitty beans when they're averaging between 35 and 40 bushel the acre.
Here's what I have written down. Lower left button, then status, then start. Okay. Press the start button on the dryer, which is a black button.
Barb is talking. Everybody got to hear you say how you were reading off your phone how to start the dryer, but yes, that's how you do it. Because yes, I'm filming. So I told Barb, while you're down there dumping the truck, you might as well fire up the dryer. And no, we're not using any heat, they're dry. But as I said in, I think the last video, everything goes through the dryer, up the leg, to the bins. So, right or wrong, that's our system. Yes, this is very depressing, but it is what it is, as I keep saying. She's got more than enough for a 6-wheeler. And I'll be done. I only got like 2 passes left here on the boot part, a little bit of these short rows, and then I'm back to all the long rows. So I'll be back over there by the time she gets back anyhow, because it takes so long to get a bin full. And yes, at the end there you saw a few pods coming out. Well, you can tell over there when I opened the boot part up. Yeah, about the first 4 times around are nothing but shade, so they were a little greener and a little growling. So that's our ground, surrounded by, as I've told you, this. I'd love to have a 100-acre field somewheres with nothing around it. And I'm, again, not saying you guys out west don't ever have fields with some trees around it, but we have to time it to a certain time in the afternoon. Like, well, right now it's 20 minutes to 4. So I figured by the time I got over here, those would be in decent enough shape to grind through. Let's put it that way. Well, I got a thing on my phone saying next Tuesday, because today's Friday the 3rd, the Trump administration was going to announce some relief, as they call it, to farmers again. So there's a video coming out tomorrow morning, Saturday. So in other words, you will have seen that video by the time this one comes out. This one will come out next Wednesday, so that means that announcement will be made before this video comes out. Yay, I'll have all the haters in here talking about us welfare farmers, but whatever. you're okay with all the bullshit subsidies for your electric cars and windmills and solar panels and all that, but I don't even care anymore. Bring it on. Hell, I'm this far out into the field already and it's still shading up here. Guy who planted this got a little wide right here for some reason. Yeah, that would be me, by the way. So Barb just called because she didn't quite get the buttons right, but she's got it now. So the beans are flowing a lot faster than they're flowing here. Yeah, not exactly flying into the bin there. I can't wait to get to corn, because even if it's only 140 to 150 bushel the acre, which is, I hope it's at least that. I'm hoping it's more than that, but with the way this year's been, I don't know. But it'll be a lot less boring than what 35 to 40 bushel beans are. They're really boring to do. I mean, it's horrible how short these beans are on these hills. Like I said, you get down into a valley and they're not so bad, but oh yeah, and I finished doing my bullshit and playing English up here, screwing around between the down ash trees. Yeah, that was fun. But at this point, I don't want to leave any beans in the field that I, you know, don't have to, because one, the yield sucks, and two, the price is, speaking of price, because I'm sure there's haters in this video, in the comments of this video already before they even get to this point. I just looked at what the market was today. So I had told you I had pre-sold some, or had sold some beans. I don't know what it was, 2-3 weeks ago for 33 cents more than I did last year. Right now I could get the same price as I did last year. So it's not worse, but because CNN tells all these haters that the only place our beans go is China, I don't know, do they think that we're gonna, like, you know, have to go dump our beans in the woods or something? Bean dust. I mean, first off, look at how much gets used domestically. Second, go look and see how much Canada gets. Those of you who have been here for at least 2-3 years know I've told you, I don't know, numerous times, the majority of my beans end up in Canada because there's a mill 8-9 miles away from me that the Canadian truckers come down to deliver stuff, and then they pick up beans and take it back up to Canada, to Bungie, you know, a big soybean processing plant, kind of like, you know, Bungie, who's also here in the United States, has plants like out near Jeff Remo there, the One Happy Farmer on YouTube. But you haters keep thinking that, oh, you know, you farmers with soybeans, you're just gonna have to dump them somewhere because China's not buying any right now. And apparently that's the only place that United States soybeans go, is to China. You know, apparently hog farmers and whatnot here in the United States, they don't use any, and dairy farms don't feed any soy meal or anything like that. I mean, it's kind of pathetic, really. But like I said, by the time they get to this point in the video, some of the haters will have already left comments. So I just don't know, I don't mind the haters, because it's kind of funny. I like playing with them a little, as far as, you know, thanks for being here and pushing the algorithm. That usually pisses them off and they comment 10 more times. But I don't know, I guess, is it really the subsidies that are not like an every day, every year thing that makes some people hate farmers so much? I don't get that. I really don't. All right, back at the farm unloading. See some pods? Yeah, me too. Here's my dilemma. Pretty much 3/4 done with that big field. Most of that was the same as what was planted here, a 1.4. The last quarter of it, because I ran out of 1.4s, was a 1.9. I also had a 1.6. That's the maturity for you non-farmers. But I finished that field, the farm down the road, Scotty's farm. Basically, the 1.9s aren't quite ready. That's why we quit. That's what was on the top of that truck. I made a couple passes through them and I was like, ooh. So either tomorrow we switch and go that way to where there's some 1.6s if they're ready, or we're sitting for a few days. I don't know. But now I'm gonna have to turn the dryer on. And yes, the reason why I went from a 1.4 to a 1.9 rather than the 1.6s is because of the way they delivered them to me. The 1.9s were the next boxes in line. Yeah, I could have moved them, got to the 1.6s. I didn't think there was that big of a difference, but this year there is. Of course, it's early, it's only October 3rd. But as you can see, with just running them through the dryer, just with the fan on the dryer, the beans are 12.4 and they're coming out a point drier. But these ones are gonna come through a little wet. So I'm gonna have to turn on the dryer for a little bit until that load, that truckload gets through, so that I can dry those, because I really don't want them wet ones in the middle of the bin, you know, or in the middle of what's going in and create a hot spot or something. There you can see the number going up, 72, 73, 74. The burner is on. And a good half of that truck was those wetter beans, and I'm talking 17, 18%, some of them. So yeah, I'm not leaving for those that'll say it'll blend in. Yeah, but I'm not blending 17, 18% with 12% and having them create a hot spot in the bin. So we're just gonna run the dryer for a little bit until those get down through and I see, because this wet number for you non-farmers, that'll go up when these wet beans hit. That'll climb, and then when it gets back down to the dry beans that are in the wet bin, I'll turn the dryer, the heat back off. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And what we do next, I don't have a clue. We might be sitting for a day or two until we get beans dry enough to do again. All right, here's your one more thing. Press on the Grumpy Farmer Apparel link and get your Grumpy Farmer Apparel. And while I was over there in the computer room, I was going through some comments that YouTube actually told me I had, because they don't always notify me of comments. But hey, Fast in the West, I think your name was. Way to go back to 2 videos in a row. The corporate, what is corporate farming, and it's all Trump's fault. And leaving a word-for-word comment. You know, the identical comment in both of them. Yeah, he's left 70 some comments, because I can push on your icon and it tells how many comments you've left on the channel. Well, if you've left 100 or more, it just says 100 plus. But yeah, he's a Trump hater. Yeah, Trump sent money to the states during COVID to close small businesses. That's funny. I remember Trump saying, leave the businesses open, blue states. Leave the schools open. Yeah, Trump sending officers and troops around to harass our people. Harass our people. Who's your people? Illegals? People committing crimes? You know, like I talked about earlier in the video about Washington, D.C. going a couple weeks without a murder after Trump sent the National Guard in. Yeah, God forbid we had safe cities there, fast in the West. But whatever. You're a Trump hater. You know, too bad Grumpy can't see what Trump's doing and what's going on in this country. Oh, I see it. I see it. And I'm going to sit back and wait to see how it all unfolds. But you just keep being a Trump hater, buddy. We'll see you in the next one.